This thing, yes, this thing actually goes to a game. No, it's not a hula hoop for your garden gnome. You could maybe use it as a chirp wheel if you're a smaller person than myself. Well, that's not a chirp wheel. That's a chirp wheel. This is actually a component from 25th Century's Hamster Wheel game. If you couldn't guess, Hamster Wheel is a dexterity game, and players will be placing their wooden pieces on this hamster wheel thing in an attempt to get rid of all of their pieces. And a player during their turn will add one piece onto the hamster wheel. They have to add it onto the section that the previous player added to, or one of the next two places. And the piece that they add has to go further along than any other previous pieces. And there cannot be two matching colored pieces in the same section on the wheel. And any pieces that fall during a player's turn, they have to collect those and add those to their pile, thus making it less likely that they are able to get rid of all of their pieces to become the victor. I would like to pause for just a moment and ask that you consider clicking that subscribe button if you enjoy my videos at all. It would greatly be appreciated. And I'd like to take a moment about my voice. I recorded parts of this video 2-3 weeks ago, and then I became sick and my voice is still recovering, but I can't wait any longer. I gotta record some videos. This piece demands table presence, and maybe a long table as it rolls across the table as players add pieces to it. It is a bent piece of wood that has been painted with these ribbed for your gaming pleasure segments in there. And it's just a very interesting component. Pretty sturdy too. It seems like it would last the test of time. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this game. I sometimes have a hard time getting dexterity games to the table. Kind of shoehorned this one in a couple of game nights and had a lot of fun playing it. And I think what makes it excel above some dexterity games, the crappy ones like Jenga and whatnot, and kind of put it in the upper tier of dexterity games such as Men at Work, is that the limiting rules for tile placement is what kind of makes it interesting, because it adds an extra layer of strategy to the game, because you have to, build in an advancing manner along the wheel, so you can kind of strategically place pieces to put your opponents in really bad places, to where I've seen opponents have to place tiles onto the little black nubs that would be almost at a 45-degree angle sloping inward, and it's darn near impossible. But yeah, so I guess you could say that can kind of suck if you're on the receiving end of that stick. However, I mean, this game is about placing wooden pieces on a rolling hamster wheel that will roll across the table. So, don't take it too seriously. Am I going to be hosting a hamster roll party where we play hamster roll all night? Absolutely not. But is this a great game to play while you're waiting on people to show up to game night, or is it a filler between games, or maybe a game to play at the end of the night when you've had one too many soda pops? Absolutely. And I have discovered that a two-player game of this is way more fun than I could have ever imagined. And what's neat about it too is in a two-player game, yes, it's kind of strange that you're playing a dexterity stacking-ish type game with just two players, you get double the amount of pieces. So it really kind of adds to the strategy. You got like more arrows in your sheath, more tricks up your sleeve, more arrows in your quiver. You have more arrows in your quiver. Because some of the pieces are arguably just simply better than other ones. Like the little tubular ones that kind of look like little gray cigarettes, those guys, you can use those to just kind of really advance the wheel, because they're really difficult to stack pieces on top of them. And in a two-player game, you got two of them, so you can be a little more liberal with them. I was just really shocked at how much fun this game could be with two players. And speaking of player counts, 3 and 4 players are fine. I do think that it's kind of weird. I mean, I do think that it's unfortunate that the game doesn't play 5 players. I just kind of feel like a dexterity game should be able to play 5 players. However, I do see the limitations of the design kind of making it to where it wouldn't be that great with 5 players. It's just kind of unfortunate that you can only play with 4. For whatever reason, at my house, dexterity games aren't always the most welcomed to the table. Not necessarily by me, but by a lot of the people I play games with. But this one has gone over exceptionally well every time it's at the table. And I would say this game is definitely an above average dexterity game. I highly recommend giving this one a try. I would say if I were to rate this game numerically, looking at it as it being a dexterity game, I would say that this is a 4 out of 5, a very much above average dexterity game. Really enjoy it. Definitely staying in my collection. Definitely has amazing table presence, and the build quality of the hamster roll is very nice. All the components are very nice. Definitely staying in my collection. Highly recommend that one, and that is Hamster Roll.